Captain America is my favorite MCU character. Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe character. And don't worry the fact that this is unedited and just started and having me go, and then it's just going to end with you watching me cut the camera, and then there's a point to that. But Captain America is my favorite character in the MCU. He's not my favorite Marvel character. My favorite Marvel character is Gambit. Now you may say, Gambit, Captain America, you're basic, aren't you? Yes. Yes, I am. But Captain America being my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe character, a lot of you might hear that and you might think, oh, so patriotic. He really loves America and, the colors and, go to war and, die. No. No. The Captain America being my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe character is not due to the name Captain America. It's more to do with Steve Rogers and how he grew throughout the movies. You hear a lot that he's just military propaganda, and the movies are just military propaganda. You could say that about Captain America, the first Avenger, the first Captain America movie. You could say that because World War II and, the Americans are the good guys, watch them go take out bad guys, I get it. But if you still say that, if you still say that, really, in terms of Captain America, if you still say that past that first movie, I don't know, I feel like you need to kind of update that hard drive. Because past that first movie, Winter Soldier, it was just more and more Hydra was being uncovered in S.H.I.E.L.D., and he was learning that he really couldn't trust S.H.I.E.L.D. or the American government or anybody really. Civil War just hammered that home. And even in the first Avengers, that's when he first started realizing that Hydra was in S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. was basically Hydra, right? And I'm going off on a tangent, but the reason I relate so much to Captain America and the reason I relate to Steve Rogers so much is at the beginning, in Captain America the First Avenger, Steve Rogers is just this scrawny, small kid that wants to fight for his country. It's never outwardly stated that he's some patriotic, go America go type of character, but he just wants to do the right thing. And the right thing to him is doing whatever he can to get out on the battlefield and fight for his country, in a sense, and believe that he's doing the right thing. And as the movies progress, and the more he learns about the government and the people in the government and the agenda in the government and the agenda by those people who run the government, the more and more rogue he goes, the more and more distrustful he is. And I relate to that a lot. I grew up in a Christian conservative family. Most of my family is still Christian conservative and stupid patriotic. God, family, country. God, family, country. That's it. That's the big three. God, America, and family. And I still hold family to a high standard, don't worry, but God and country, nah, not so much. And the reason for that is when I was little, I used to believe America was the good guy. America was this beacon of hope that the founding fathers really envisioned it being. Of course, they have their faults, but out in the paperwork that laid out the vision for what they wanted this country to be, it was supposed to be this beacon of light, of freedom, of hope, of a place you go to better yourself, a place you go to put yourself in a better position than you were in the place you just left, a place you can go where you know that not only will you be safe, but you will prosper. The pursuit of what is it? Pursuit of happiness, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Is that the words? I really thought that, and of course, as I grew older and learned more and more about not only what our government is doing presently, but in the past, what they were really up to. And in the future, what it's looking like America's going to continue to do. Turns out they're not the good guy. They're not the good guy. They're not this beacon of hope that you wanted them to be so bad. And you hold out hope that the people in the country, at the very least, the government, the country itself, being this facade of freedom, that's one thing. But then you turn around and look at the people. And I'm not some highly intelligent, pretentious asshat that's going to say I'm better. But I relapsed into arguing with people online, making TikToks and Facebook posts because for some reason I downloaded that again. But making TikToks, Facebook posts, getting in comment sections, arguing with people. And I realized people will just hug on to the facts that confirm their belief and ignore everything else. You know? And the real situations that I pointed out was Charlie Kirk's assassination. Everything about Tyler Robinson, the left is going to hug on to what they believe makes him right, and the right is going to hug on to everything that they believe makes him left. And that's just where it's going to stay. There can't be any consensus. And with him, honestly, it's complicated, but even with like Melissa Hortman and her husband, when they were murdered in their home, and then that other senator was gravely injured, he was critically injured in his home by that whack job. Conservatives hung on to the fact that he was appointed by Tim Walz, and that's it. He was appointed by Tim Walz, and Melissa Hortman voted against Democrats on a particular bill. And those two facts, that means that guy was a Republican lashing out at, or that means that was a Democrat lashing out at other Democrats for not falling in line. But they ignore the fact that he was constantly talking about how abortion is evil, constantly talking out about LGBTQ people. He was a Republican. He was a Trump supporter. And his little hit list of 70 senators and I think it was 70 senators and also people high up in Planned Parenthood. Those senators were mostly Democrat and then Planned Parenthood. Yet they just want to look at those two facts and then say, he was a Democrat, what can I tell you? And I'm not, like, Republicans will do that, but Democrats will do the exact same thing with, like, Tyler Robinson, as I said. As murky as that whole situation is. And I just had to step back, and I had to be like, we're just monkeys throwing shit at each other. I've used that phrase quite often in the past month or two. People are just monkeys throwing shit at each other. People are so easily manipulated to just believe whatever they already believe. Anything that goes against that, anything that proves some kind of narrative that they tried to make in their minds or that they've already made in their minds, if a fact goes against that narrative, that fact is either untrue or they refuse to acknowledge it. Both sides do it. And it's just... it's just so tiring. And again, I'm not smarter than anybody. I'm not more righteous than anybody. I'm really not. But I can take a step back and just watch it. Like I'm on the hill watching the Gettysburg battle. You know what I mean? Like I'm a spectator of the Civil War. I can see people just chucking shit at each other. And you just realize that it's the same fucking people. It's the same people throwing the same type of shit at each other, just turned on its side. And both sides will disagree with you because both sides believe the other side is evil. So you take a government that the image of it had been completely ruined by their own hand through what they've done in the past and what they continue to do. And then you look at the people, and it's nothing but a bunch of screaming, stubborn lunatics. And every rational person just looks around and says, we're fucked. There's nothing we can do. The people, I'm not going to say we're as divided as ever, because we're not. People threaten a civil war, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, right? As much as this administration wants it to happen, it's not going to happen. But the fact that people just can be so easily influenced on both sides and then point the finger at the other person and say, no, they're brainwashed. My stuff is correct. The stuff brainwashing me is correct. The stuff brainwashing you, that's evil and that's wrong and that's brainwashing you. You both do it. And it hurts. I believe in America. And I know that may seem cringy to say, but I want America to be this beacon of freedom and justice and happiness and hope and prosperity. I want America to be that, but it just isn't. And it's not just the government. It's the people. It's you. It's me. I can't put myself above it. I told you. I was arguing in TikTok comment sections and making TikTok inflammatory posts on Facebook. I was doing it, man. You just gotta back up and you just gotta realize how fucking insane you're being. You know? I had to get this off my chest. I hope this country gets better. Me and my lady have talked about moving out of it whenever we get the means to, and we're pretty serious about it. Because I don't know, it's gonna take a long time. It's gonna take a long time from when we start healing from all this nonsense. And when do we start healing? I don't know. Not in this administration. And from all their talk, this administration wants to be there for a little bit. Not only Trump, but everybody around him. Everybody that's going to come after him that's Republican. They're just going to carry on the same agenda this dude is carrying on, which is the left is a bunch of demonic enemies of the state that shouldn't be walking the streets. I know you may think that sounds inflammatory. That's what it is. It's what it is. I'm not saying all Republicans think that. I hope you don't think that. Because that's just not the case. And you know it's not the case. But until we get a president that looks people in the face at the inauguration or just runs on the fact that we need to stop. Just look down the barrel of the camera or just look into people's eyes and say, we need to unite. Because this is ridiculous. But that president, whether it's a man, whether it's a lady, whether it's someone in the middle, it's not going to happen for a long time. And both sides are so dug in that even in recent, or even in the near future, that's just not going to work. I don't know. I just hope that we can live up to what the Founding Fathers wanted this country to be. Better than what they wanted to be. Because, you know, they had some iffy beliefs. Check out the podcast every Monday. And I'm not going to promise anything. Because I know myself. I know what I plan to do next week. But I also knew what I planned to do this week. And I chickened out. So I'm not going to promise anything. But yeah. Y'all have a good weekend.